With each new leak that we get of Call of Duty DMZ, it's sounding more and more like we're actually getting a real extraction looter shooter, and that Infinity Ward isn't half-assing it. With this last leak though, I'm seeing exactly what I was hoping for. Depth, lots of diversity in loot, AI bosses, factions, random in-game events, and a few other details that I bet you haven't even considered, even if you've already seen this information. This mode is your main focus of Modern Warfare 2. Consider subscribing to stay in the know. And I'll be transitioning to guides and gameplay upon the November 16th release. Now, this new DMZ leak is coming from a file dump hosted by Twitter user Podsploits. It has since then been taken down. Luckily, I was able to copy and paste before that happened. There's also a significant portion of this that is coming from Charlie Intel's Twitter post as well. Now, let's start with the biggest part of this leak. If this game mode is going to compete with standalone games in the extraction looter shooter genre like Tarkov, Cycle Frontier, or Marauders, the questing has to be impactful, right? It's what needs to drive most of the gameplay forward so that your progression isn't reliant on just PvP. You can get that in Team Deathmatch, you can get that in Warzone. This is an entirely separate beast. It's what makes the gameplay of this genre so diverse and dynamic. It adds more depth to the experience. And it's what I feared that Call of Duty was going to struggle with, as every game mode up until this point has been PvP focused. And then I read through these missions, assuming that they were going to be bound to objectives like get 5 kills with this weapon, call in 2 kill streaks over there. I mean, it's Call of Duty, but check this out. So the file dump revealed that there's going to be 2 factions in the DMZ that give missions. The Black Mal, the missions for this faction are focused on exploration and travel through the DMZ, and White Lotus. The missions for this faction are focused on completing activities and eliminating enemy AI. Now, if this is similar to Tarkov, like the devs have been claiming, completing the missions for these factions could have results that require you to make tactical decisions, like the USEC and Bear factions. The player may have to choose at the beginning which faction they want to join. Killing members of your faction could have an effect on reputation. Maybe you get kill orders for players of the opposing faction, or the factions are just there to categorize the upcoming quest we're going to talk about. So within this list of missions, it doesn't say what faction they go under, but damn it, do they surprise me for a Call of Duty game. They sound PG level quests. So I figured it'd be more fun to guess what faction they will all fall under as we read them off. And keep in mind, this number is going to be seen throughout. It's a current placeholder for an unconfirmed set of numbers, like how many of X item that you need to complete the quest. In the very first quest, Tarkov players will recognize the inspiration for this mode already. Extract enemy grunt weapons. You need to acquire intel about how Al-Qatala is arming its grunts. Bring back some of their weapons so we can analyze them. This one, obviously, is for the White Lotus faction. One of the initial contracts you need to complete in Escape from Tarkov is to collect certain weapons from killing enemy AI, known as scavs. This is more challenging though in Tarkov because the AI is tougher. The damage they output is no different than from a player. This is not what you get from a Call of Duty game though. They have stated that the AI in Modern Warfare 2 are highly intelligent. In the ground war and invasion modes that we got to test out in the beta, we got our first look at them, and well, my hope is that they were heavily nerfed for these TDM style matches, and that they're going to be much more of a threat in the DMZ and Warzone 2.0 for that matter. Anybody who has played an extraction looter shooter knows the PvE content needs to be challenging to make the PvP more intense. The next few missions, they're only going to be complemented by having tougher AI. Capture SAM sites. Al-Qatala has set up several surface-to-air missile sites in the DMZ. There are frequently transport planes flying overhead. SAM sites can shoot them down, allowing you to recover their supplies. This mission should fall under the White Lotus faction as well, and it actually has me super hyped, but it has nothing to do with the mission. What it tells us is the DMZ will have random in-game events. SAM sites will shoot down supplies that you can recover. They're more than likely going to hold higher tier weapons or expensive items to sell at the marketplace. This will create intense PvP encounters at the drop location, similar to airdrops in Tarkov. Extract a certain amount of cash in one match. We're low on coin because of several botched operations by your fellow soldiers. We need a lump sum urgently for an upcoming mission. This one to me also sounds like White Lotus. Extract a hailstorm. Uncle Sam is looking to do some research on the weapons being distributed throughout Saba. Acquire and extract a Hailstorm shotgun, and we can use it to gain some goodwill with the feds. There's a rumor the Hailstorm can be purchased at specific buy stations. Now, because it doesn't say anything about nabbing it off of an NPC, I think this is going to fall under the Black Mao missions. It may be something that you can find in gun lockers in specific strongholds, or like they said, you can get it from specific buy stations, revealing that buy stations will in fact be in the DMZ and that they're going to have different purchases depending on what your location is. Kill a boss and extract their weapon case. We received intel that the chemist has acquired a weapon case containing valuable rare weapons. Find a hard drive and upload it in order to track him down. Acquire his weapon case by any means necessary. I think this is going to be a White Lotus mission, although it looks like it has a decent amount of exploration involved. This is the type of depth that I was talking about earlier. The mission could technically have 5 objectives to complete. First, you have to find the hard drive. Then you have to upload it, probably at a specified location on the map. Then you have to track him down, kill him, and then survive to extract with his case. At any point along the way, you could die, requiring you to restart the mission on your next drop. This is the type of content that comes with high risk. It's what makes this genre so addicting. The next mission has even more implications. Extract with a full backpack. A mission into the DMZ cannot be considered successful without extracting with sufficient resources. Fill your backpack before you exfil to maximize your efficiency. Extract with a full backpack, including the backpack weapon slot. The biggest worry that I had with this game mode was that it was going to have surface level looting. Like, looting is an integral part of any extraction looter shooter. We know nothing about the backpack sizes, how you can get them, or what all you can put in them, other than that there is a weapon slot, which I'm curious if that actually holds a tertiary firearm separate from your primary and secondary active weapon slots. But either way, this shows that they're taking the DMZ seriously for the genre that they're attaching it to. There would be no reason to have a backpack in the game mode at all if the looting experience was just chalked up to guns and grenades, like I originally assumed they were going to do. I'm putting this mission under the Black Mao faction. Empty vehicle of gas. Al-Qatala is planning to transport weapons using civilian vehicles. A logical means of transportation. Drive nearby vehicles until their tanks are empty to sabotage Al-Qatala's plans. Empty vehicles of gas. This honestly just sounds like a quest you would do on a naked run. Take in no weapons for minimal risk, run to the nearest vehicle, drive it till it's empty, maybe doing a little bit of Al-Qatala vehicular manslaughter in the process. Either way, this sounds like exploration. We're going to be putting this under Black Mao. Extract with different lethals or tacticals. I'm going with White Lotus on this one. Kill grunts in Hydro using a shotgun. Travel to Hydro and get up close to the Al-Qatala infantry so we can observe their tactics. Dispatch them with a shotgun. You can acquire one in a buy station or in an enemy supply cache. This mission's obviously White Lotus and is really pretty common in this genre. Kill X amount of AI at this location is a staple in any looter shooter. I would expect as we go along with this list, we're going to see multiple variations of this mission. Now, this next one is kind of confusing, as these leaks are just raw game text. It says travel to Hydro blank time. This could be travel to this location in a certain amount of time, but it's more likely that it really just means travel here one time, as in like discover it for the first time. This is definitely a Black Mao quest. And just like the prior mission, I would expect this one to have multiple uses for all the different locations. Kill riot shield grunts. Enemy strongholds are often guarded by well-equipped grunts with riot shields. If you can outflank them, you'll have easy access to the loot they're protecting. This should be a White Lotus mission. I'm getting some heavy Division 2 stronghold vibes from this. I would expect, like the Division, these locations will be one of the better farms for gear. This should be where you encounter bosses that could be outfitted with armor plates, good weapons, or even Juggernaut gear. And it'll likely be best to take it on with a squad. This is one of those pieces with DMZ that really needs to work. The boss should be even more intelligent than the regular AI. The regular AI defending there should be a bit more aggressive than any that are roaming about. Strongholds will probably be the peak PvE content in this mode, so I'm positive that I'm going to be making videos on them at release. Kill special forces. Now this one's really cool. Heavily armored grunts will infill if you cause enough trouble in the DMZ. We need intel on their combat capabilities, get their attention, and terminate them. This is yet another addition to the random in-game events. It sounds like a White Lotus mission, and it adds even more intensity to the gameplay for those that reach it. I imagine it'll work like if you raid enough strongholds, or maybe you kill enough players, the special forces are going to show up in choppers, rappel down, and aggressively push you and your team. And as silly as this may sound, the next one is my favorite on the list so far. Extract liquor bottles. I'm not a drunk. Well, before Saba was evacuated, a famous collector of fine liquors lived there. Looters have stolen and relocated most of his collection all around Saba. Find a few bottles and bring them back. They're highly valuable. This is absolutely a blackmail quest. But you're like, why the hell is this your favorite mission so far? Because this is one of my favorite objectives in games like Escape from Tarkov. Here's why. It starts out as, oh, cool, I just gotta go find some bottles and bring them back. But that's never how it goes. My hope is that the bottles are not all in one location and that you kind of just have to collect them as you go, making it more of an exciting event when you actually find one. Little objectives like that are what makes this genre so wild. Like, you'll be in the middle of raiding a stronghold, only needing one more bottle, and in one of the rooms, of course you find it. Now you gotta make a tactical decision. Finish the stronghold and go for the big gear at the end, or exfil now with the bottle that is the last one you need to finish this quest. You can't compare that shit to Warzone. It's a whole different vibe. And by the way, if you made it this far into the video, you're obviously enjoying the content. I'm a small creator. A like goes a really long way for the algorithm, and it's so easy to push. Kill grunts at long range. Good marksmen can take out enemies before they're ever detected. Prove your marksmanship by eliminating some Al-Qatala grunts from long range. This one goes with White Lotus. Kill grunts in oil field using a sniper rifle. This is White Lotus, and no need to go any further into it. It's just another variation of get kills with a gun at this location like we were talking about earlier. Travel to oil field, blackmail, kill operators with an assault rifle. Now this, I think, may not fall under either of the two factions, but instead under a third, more exclusive bounty-based faction called the Crown. In the same file dump where the factions were mentioned, under the White Lotus, they bring up the Crown as a document containing inactive and active members of the White Lotus. Now, I could be wrong, but to me, this sounds like a subset branch off of the White Lotus, and I think it only makes sense that they are going to be the ones asking you to kill other players, giving you bounties for other operators, which of course should be the toughest missions to complete of all and should have special rewards for reaching their end game. Again, all speculation, but I digress. This mission asks you to prove that you have the skills to be a helpful asset to us. Acquire an assault rifle and use it to terminate other operators. To not waste your time, the following missions are pretty similar, so I want to get through them pretty fast to skip to the final few that really have some meat in them. Kill operators, the Crown. Kill operators in Quarry, the Crown. Kill operators with an SMG, Crown. Wipe squads, the Crown. Kill grunts with headshots using a pistol, White Lotus. Travel to different points of interest in one match, blackmail. Enter different vehicles in one match, blackmail. Destroy vehicles, blackmail. Now the next one does sound pretty unique. Hack UAV towers. Al-Qatala has deployed UAV towers at many points of interest around the DMZ. These towers provide critical intel on the surrounding areas. Hack them so that we can gain an informational advantage. I would also put this under blackmail as it seems more exploration based, though I wouldn't be surprised if there are enemies guarding it. But the reason that I find it interesting is I wonder if by hacking the tower in the area, it gives you a temporary UAV, which in this mode, because it's hardcore, I guarantee you is going to be a rare commodity, or it disables and prevents other players in the proximity from using their UAVs. I could be reaching here, but that's something that I would like to see. Questing that has inadvertent effects for yourself and other players on the map. And the next two are similar, except one is for AI bosses and the other is for players. Complete elimination contracts. Al-Qatala has stationed several high-value targets in Saba. Intercept their communications to track them down and eliminate them. This one is AI, so White Lotus. Complete hunt contracts. You can intercept enemy communications in order to find the location of hostile faction operators. Use this intel to eliminate enemy squads. This is for players, so I'm putting it automatically with the Crown. And I would expect it to function similar to hunt contracts in Warzone. Now for the last one, it's just so obvious what they're doing. Extract operator dog tags. We need proof of enemy faction presence in the DMZ to get approval for higher troop deployments. Tech will run a background check on the operator and pay you a lump sum for each dog tag extracted. Tarkov. Like seriously, if it wasn't annoying, I could have pointed out several instances where the DMZ is replicated content from Tarkov throughout all these missions that were listed. And it's not a bad thing, or maybe it is. There is seriously nothing more that I love on these videos than hearing what you think down in the comments below. How do these missions sound to you? While you're typing, check this out. There also was a leak all about nukes being added to the DMZ. This video has everything that you need to know about it. Click it so I can leave. I can't leave till you do it. Till the click, I must sit until you hit a sub or this shit.